Okay. Erin, we are rolling live.
Cool.
With cocktail in hand. Cheers to
Cheers.
that.
Happy Wednesday.
And why is this? So how am I here sitting with Erin Slocum, who's the client advisor at Simon Quick,
Yep.
having cocktails in such a beautiful location? We're at the Yahoo Finance studios, by the way.
Yep.
It's a whole new format for us. So this is kind of an impromptu thing,
Yep.
sponsored by the FPA of New York Metro. So thank you, FPA New York Metro. And they're doing a really cool media event here. And they were kind enough to invite us down and cover it for with goRIA. And we're trying to cover all things RIA.
Yep.
And Erin, I know we were talking a little bit off camera, and you have a great story. So you came from a big bank.
Yep.
Then you saw the light.
Sure did.
Joining the RIA space.
Definitely.
So
Yep.
tell us how that was.
So, yes, I'd been at a big bank in their wealth management group for close to 14 years.
Wow, okay.
And, started in Boston, moved to New York, and was able to move in-house kind of laterally into their wealth management, working with, high net worth clients. I'd been looking to make a move for a really long time, and there was definitely very good work-life balance, and I'd seniority and good vacation time and benefits and things like that. And I was speaking to this woman, maybe making excuses like why I can't move or don't want to move, other than just it's not fun looking for a job. But I was like, I have all of this, and I might not be paid as well, or there are other frustrations working for a big company, but it's fine. And she was like, well, why couldn't you be compensated what you're worth and have all of that? And that really made me think, like, okay, maybe it's not impossible. And I did know too that if I were to leave this bank, that it wouldn't be to go to another big bank, and
Right.
and I wanted to be somewhere smaller, where I could feel like I make an impact. And it was just fortuitous that the opportunity at Simon Quick came my way, and went through the interview process. It was still sort of during COVID as we were coming out of it, and did my third round in person with the managing partners in our New York City office. And I almost thought it was too good to be true. So that's sort of how it all started.
Oh, we're going to clip that statement for
Okay.
sure. So, this is really, really perfect for what we like to cover on goRIA.
Mm-hmm.
So I talk to a lot of advisors, and a lot of advisors at the big bank. And I got to tell you, not all of them are really happy.
Yeah, that sounds about
to
right.
put it nicely,
Yep.
perhaps. But a lot of them, I think, are really, the best word is scared, I think, to leave, that big bank setting,
Yeah.
and making that leap into the more independent, the more entrepreneurial RIA space. Were you nervous when you pulled the trigger?
Definitely. It's going from something I'd known my entire career. You think with being big comes strength and stability, and so it was a leap, one I'm really glad that I took. I would say, like, after the first week, my husband said, you are so much less miserable. So I took that. I was like, okay, I think that's a good sign. I made the right move. And, it was, and same thing too. I told my boss, and like the check-in after my first week, and I said, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, what is there that I'm not seeing? And, 3 years in, it's, I absolutely made the right decision, but sure, it was definitely scary.
All right. So that might be our new tagline, by the way. goRIA and make your husband less miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we definitely improved our marriage pretty quickly.
Reason 397 to goRIA. Improve your marriage.
Absolutely. Highly recommend.
All right. So, and I'm curious, how did you find the RIA? Were you with a recruiter, or how did you get connected?
Yeah, actually, a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I don't know why, out of all the recruiters that in the past had reached out, she was the one that I was finally like, okay, I'm ready to do this. So we did have a conversation, and her description, I didn't know, she didn't say who the firm was, but at the time it sounded something that would be a good fit, and went that way. So that's sort of why I say it's fortuitous, I think, how I ended up at Simon Quick because
Well, I think sometimes too, you might have something in the back of your mind, and someone reaches out to you at the point you're ready.
Yes.
And it sounds like maybe that's what it was. That
Definitely.
perfect confluence of
Yep,
the two.
exactly.
Do you want to give a shout out to the recruiter and maybe a thank you?
This is horrible, but I can't remember her name right now.
Oops. Live TV.
Yeah, cut that.
We can't.
No, but no, no. She was great in the firm that she worked with. Was
You can
super
put her in the
supportive.
comments when we post
Yes,
this.
I'll go dig back in my emails.
Okay, very
and
good.
find them. But
Excellent.
yeah.
So we're coming up on time. These are fairly short segments. And you can speak right to the camera, to those advisors still at the big banks. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to absolutely make the leap if it's something, if you are miserable, if you are frustrated working for, a big organization where you're just another cog in the machine, and go for a firm, where I am. Simon Quick is completely employee owned. They've opened up principal tracks, and you can definitely make a difference. I think leadership is very leadership, but hierarchy is pretty flat, and it really does. You do feel like your voice matters and it counts. And I couldn't speak even more highly of where I am now.
Well, that's the best testimony you can give. That's fantastic.
there you
So,
go.
Erin, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for
we'll be
having
back.
me.
We'll see what we're drinking for the next
cheers.
segment.
Yeah.
But normally our
Margaritas?
segments, perhaps margaritas. Normally our segments go from morning to afternoon. This is our first time doing afternoon into happy hour.
Okay.
So looking forward to more of the same.
Evening. Yeah, awesome. Thanks,
Erin,
Chuck, for having me.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, a couple more segments left, so stay tuned with us for kind of the late edition of goRIA. Thanks for joining us. Erin, thanks again.
Thank you.